Have you ever pondered over the question, how did South Africa come to be what it is today? Well, let's take a step back, way back, to the very dawn of human history, to the cradle of humankind, where the story of South Africa begins. Imagine, if you will, a time some 100,000 years ago. This is the earliest known human settlement in the region, a place that would one day become known as South Africa. Our journey begins with the discovery of ancient hominid fossils, remnants of our distant ancestors scattered across the landscape. These fossils, some of the oldest known to science, provide a tantalizing glimpse into our shared past, a time when early humans first walked the earth. But the story doesn't stop there. As we move forward in time, we encounter the Stone Age San and Khoi cultures. These remarkable people, the original inhabitants of South Africa, lived in harmony with the land for tens of thousands of years. Their legacy is etched into the landscape, written in the form of rock art and ancient artifacts that hint at a rich and complex culture. The San and Khoi people were hunters and gatherers, living in small, mobile groups. They developed a deep understanding of the local flora and fauna, skills that ensured their survival in a challenging environment. Their way of life, passed down through generations, shaped the land and its people. We also have archaeological evidence that tells us about their daily lives. From tools to weapons, from pottery to art, these artifacts tell us a story of a people deeply connected to their environment, a people who left an indelible mark on the history of South Africa. So as we delve deeper into South Africa's past, we see a land shaped by its earliest inhabitants, a land that carries the echoes of their presence even today. Their legacy is an integral part of the rich tapestry that makes up South Africa's history. The early history of South Africa sets the stage for the arrival of the first Europeans, and that, my friends, is where we'll pick up our story in the next scene. The landscape of South Africa witnessed a dramatic shift with the arrival of Europeans. This change began in the 15th century, when Portuguese explorers first set foot on South African soil. These seafarers, led by the likes of Bartolomeu Dias and Vasco da Gama, were on a quest to find a sea route to the east. But what they found was a land rich in resources and beauty. The 17th century saw the arrival of the Dutch, eager for a share of the newfound wealth. The Dutch East India Company, a powerful multinational corporation of the time, established the Cape of Good Hope as a supply station. This was not a simple trading post, but a thriving settlement, the first European outpost in South Africa. The Dutch introduced new crops, farming techniques, and even brought in slaves from other parts of Africa and Asia to work the land. These early European arrivals were not just explorers or traders, they became settlers, laying the foundation for a new society, one marked by difference and conflict. They brought with them their culture, their religion, and their languages, which have shaped South Africa's identity to this day. The Dutch settlers, also known as Boers, developed their unique language, Afrikaans, blending Dutch with indigenous African languages. They shaped the land to suit their needs, creating large farms called Boer republics, setting the stage for future tensions with indigenous communities. The arrival of Europeans also led to significant changes in the lives of South Africa's original inhabitants. The native Khoisan people, who had lived in harmony with the land for millennia, found their way of life disrupted. The Europeans' need for land and resources often led to violent confrontations, setting in motion a cycle of dispossession and resistance that would echo throughout the centuries to come. The arrival of Europeans marked the beginning of South Africa's colonial era. This era would see the rise and fall of empires, the struggle for freedom, and the birth of a nation. It's a tale of exploration and exploitation, of cultural exchange and conflict. But it's also the story of South Africa, a country rich in history and diversity, a land of breathtaking beauty and enduring spirit. The 19th century brought a new colonial power to South Africa, the British. As the British Empire expanded, so too did its interest in South Africa, particularly for its strategic position on the sea route to India. In the early 19th century, the British seized control from the Dutch, sparking a series of conflicts that would shape the region's future. The first of these conflicts was the Anglo-Boer War, fought between the British Empire and two Boer states, the South African Republic and the Orange Free State, over the empire's influence in South Africa. The discovery of diamonds in Kimberley in 1867 and gold in the Transvaal in the 1880s only intensified the struggle, leading to an influx of foreigners, or Uitlanders as they were known, and escalating tensions between the British and the Boers. The Second Anglo-Boer War, fought from 1899 to 1902, was a brutal and bloody conflict. The British employed a scorched earth policy, burning Boer farms and placing women and children in concentration camps, where many died from disease and malnutrition. Despite the Boers' fierce resistance, the British emerged victorious. The Treaty of Vereeniging, signed on 31 May 1902, ended the war and brought the Boer republics under the control of the British Empire. In 1910, the British united the Cape Colony, the Natal Colony, the Transvaal Colony, and the Orange River Colony to form the Union of South Africa, a dominion of the British Empire. This new political entity was governed under a form of constitutional monarchy, with the British monarch as the head of state. However, the Union was far from united. The British and the Boers, or Afrikaners as they were now known, remained deeply divided. The British victors enacted policies that favored English over Dutch and the white minority over the black majority, further widening the chasm between the different groups in the society. The British rule shaped South Africa in ways that still echo in its modern society. The mid-20th century saw South Africa entering its darkest phase, the apartheid. Emerging from the ashes of British colonial rule, the newly established National Party implemented a system of racial segregation in 1948. This system, known as apartheid, which means apartness in Afrikaans, was more than just a political policy. It was a way of life that touched every aspect of society. Under apartheid, South Africa was divided into racial groups: blacks, whites, coloreds, and Indians. Each group had separate amenities, from schools to public transportation, even beaches. The majority black population was relegated to the worst parts of the country, living in townships far from city centers where they worked. Voting rights were stripped from black and colored citizens, and interracial marriages were outlawed. The world watched in shock as South Africa went from being a symbol of unity between diverse cultures to a symbol of racial division and hatred. The United Nations condemned the apartheid regime, imposing sanctions and embargoes. However, these international efforts had little effect on the staunchly defiant National Party. Yet, within this oppressive environment, resistance began to take root. Figures like Nelson Mandela, Oliver Tambo, and Walter Sisulu emerged as leaders. Rallying against the injustices of apartheid, they mobilized people within and beyond South Africa's borders, sparking a global movement for racial equality and justice. Their efforts, however, were met with harsh retaliation from the government. Many activists were arrested, tortured, or killed. Mandela himself was imprisoned for 27 years. But these brutalities only intensified the struggle, turning the anti-apartheid movement into a beacon of resilience and determination. The struggle against apartheid was not just a fight for racial equality in South Africa. It was a global call to arms, a challenge to the conscience of the world. It was a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity, a demonstration that even in the face of the most oppressive regimes, the human spirit could not be crushed. The struggle against apartheid became a defining moment in South Africa's history. The dawn of the 90s brought hope as South Africa began its journey towards freedom. The oppressive regime of apartheid was crumbling, and the winds of change were blowing across the nation. In 1990, the world watched as Nelson Mandela, the man who had become the face of the anti-apartheid movement, was released from prison after 27 long years. His release was a beacon of hope, signaling the end of an era marked by racial segregation and injustice. Mandela was not just a man freed from prison, he embodied the dreams of millions longing for equality and justice. As the apartheid regime receded, South Africa began its transition towards a democratic society. The year 1994 marked a significant milestone in this journey, as the nation held its first democratic elections. These elections were a resounding affirmation of the will of the people, with Nelson Mandela being elected as the country's first black president. This was a moment of triumph, a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who had fought against the odds for their freedom. However, the end of apartheid did not mean the end of challenges for South Africa. The nation had to grapple with the deep-seated scars left by decades of racial segregation. Reconciliation, economic disparity, and social inequality were among the many hurdles that lay ahead. Yet, South Africa, under the leadership of Mandela, embarked on a journey to heal, to rebuild, and to create a society rooted in the principles of equality and justice. The post-apartheid era has seen remarkable achievements. From the establishment of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, aimed at addressing the atrocities of the past, to the adoption of one of the most progressive constitutions in the world, South Africa has shown its commitment to creating a just and inclusive society. South Africa's journey from apartheid to democracy is a testament to the resilience and spirit of its people. The road may have been long, and the challenges many, but the nation's unwavering resolve for a better future remains a beacon of hope for all. South Africa today stands as a vibrant nation, rich in culture and history. It is a country brimming with diversity, a melting pot of traditions, languages, and ethnicities that contributes to its unique identity. In the heart of the African continent, South Africa has become a significant player. It is one of the continent's largest economies, and its political influence extends well beyond its borders. With its abundant natural resources, including gold and diamonds, it plays a pivotal role in the global market. Yet, like any nation, South Africa faces its share of challenges. The socio-economic landscape is marked by stark disparities in wealth and access to resources. Unemployment remains high, particularly among the youth, and the country grapples with issues of poverty and inequality. Politically, South Africa has transitioned from the oppressive apartheid regime to a democratic society. It is a nation that has learned to harness the power of unity and reconciliation, a testament to its resilience. The government, under the African National Congress, has been steering the country towards progressive change, although it has faced criticism for perceived corruption and slow progress. In the global arena, South Africa has made its mark as a peacekeeper and a champion of human rights. It is a member of the United Nations, the African Union, and the BRICS Association of major emerging economies, alongside Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Its voice resonates in international forums, advocating for development, climate action, and the eradication of poverty and disease. South Africa's cultural richness is a source of national pride. From the rhythmic beats of African drums to the vibrant colors of traditional attire, the country's heritage is celebrated with fervor. Its stunning landscapes, wildlife, and warm hospitality make it a favored destination for tourists from around the globe. The history of South Africa serves as a reminder of the nation's strength in the face of adversity. It is a story of resilience and transformation, a narrative that continues to unfold. As we look ahead, we see a nation forging its path, carrying the lessons of its past into a promising future. From its earliest human settlements to the vibrant nation it is today, South Africa's history is a fascinating journey. Our voyage began with the dawn of history, where the first human footprints were imprinted on this land. Then came the Europeans, their arrival marking a significant shift in the trajectory of the region. The British rule and the Boer Wars further complicated this narrative, leading us to the emergence of a dark era, apartheid. This system of institutionalized racial segregation and discrimination cast a long shadow, but the resilience of the South African people shone through. The end of apartheid signaled a new chapter, a rebirth of a nation striving for equality and justice. Today, South Africa stands as a testament to the indomitable spirit of its people, their struggle, and their triumph. Understanding the history of South Africa gives us a deeper appreciation of the country's struggle and triumph, shaping its unique identity in the world.